Thank you, Chairman. Uh, Good evening, the dignitaries from the dais, delegates from all over the country, and the other people, those who are just watching, as I was just telling, 50 plus countries all over the world. My talk mainly, for example, I have been shifted because as an organizer, we have the flexibility. So I was supposed to give in the morning this talk because somebody else have to just go. I have been pushed. Thank God I have not been pushed tomorrow. I have just pushed only up to today evening. So this talk mainly about what people are just talking regarding the what technology can just do. So in this case, many people, they just showed some map, they just showed some of the other diagrams and technical aspects, and whole thing all comes under one package, what we call as the geospatial technology. So in river rejuvenation, what we are just going to do, rather what we are just following, the techniques or the technology, that is what we are just going to discuss. So mostly I will be just talking about, like if you just go for the building of, if you want to just construct a building, normally the engineer just give the blueprint, the mason will just try to build up construct the building. In a similar way, our job, our technical team in river rejuvenation is give the blueprint to the execution team. So how we make the blueprint, and after the execution, what are all the aspects we are just going to just cover. That's what I will be just covering in this about 20 minutes just talk. So that's why the topic is the relevance of the geospatial technology, mainly in the river rejuvenation. There are many other aspects, but I will be covering only what we are doing in the river rejuvenation. Okay, we live in, this is what we have been contemplating since morning. One is we live in two worlds. One is the natural world and one is the constructed world. The natural world, you know, it is all the self-regulating mechanisms. So once you interrupt into the self-regulating mechanism, we get into the managed world or the constructed world. So there comes increasingly the conflict. The conflict just comes because of the natural worlds getting into the constructed world. So similar way, if you want to just do all those things, what is the framework for understanding when the conflict comes, how to manage? Because as long as the natural world, if it just goes, there is no problem. The nature takes care of it, and we know there is no need of any intervention. But when it comes to the conflict comes, what is the framework for understanding and how to manage our earth? So that is how the technology helps. When we talk about the technology, you should just have the technology. It should create, and you should have some measurement, you should have some analysis, we should have some modeling, which we just already just talked, many people just talked. And this whole thing, it can be on a local level or the holistic level, or it should be systematic and it should be analytic and all. So all this thing, if you just apply, you have to have the proper planning, proper management, and proper action. So if all this thing, in a cyclic way, if you just do it, then only you can, the conflict, whatever the conflict we are just having, that we can bring back to our natural system. Because once it just goes beyond our repair, then it is very difficult to bring back. So to bring back this mechanism, all these things we apply, that is how the technology helps. So if you just take, because I was just from ISRO, I was there for about 35 years, spent in ISRO, and Vikram Sarabhai is the father of the ISRO. What he has just told, before we just construct the rocket, like we have just started, somebody was just telling, we should go from the individual person. Then only we have to just go into the global way, or you can just go in a regional way and all. So when you just start, we have just started in, for example, in 1963, we just started in a small church. The rocket, it was just taken by cycle. So that time, actually the chairman, he was just telling, we are convinced that if we are to play a meaningful role nationally and in the community of the nation, we should be second to none. Yes, technology-wise, we should be at par with other developed countries, but the technology, it should not just have only for the technology's sake, it should reach the real problems of the man and then the society. If the science and technology, if it doesn't help for the common man, then there is no point of just having a science and technology. Similar thing, Guruji also is contemplate, rather you can just say he supplement that. The top 3 agenda are to bring smile on the faces of the people, how to save the rivers of the country, to wipe the tears of the society, and change the tears into smile. So, one is the technologists also talk about the common man, the spiritual leader also talks about the common man. So, whole thing, everybody, you have to just go as the humanity as the platform. So, that's what we try to do in our project. Okay, what is this geospatial technology? What is the geospatial information technique? I just want to just give you a few introduction, rather you can just glimpse, then we can just go what we are just doing and all. See, it covers the global positioning system, what Mr. Hegde was just telling. Whenever you want to just go for some of the boulder checks and other this thing, the location is very important. How the location is just there? It is a system of, from the satellite way, anyway, all people, you are just having the mobile. Previously, we used to have a instrument, we had a separate instrument. Now there are good smart mobiles and all. You have the GPS system and other this thing. And also we use the remote sensing technique, the use of satellites, aircraft, and recently drone also, it just plays an important role to get all the information about the Earth's surface. And keep everything into digital mode so that you can play with the data. And coming to the GIS, that is a Geographic Information System, where you can just play, as I was just telling in my first slide, you can just play with the data, you can modify, or you can just change, or whatever the way you want, you can just manipulate the way, whatever the data it can be just put into. So, the proper software system to have the capability for the input, storage, manipulation, all this thing it comes under. So, of course, now you also just have the cloud. Whatever the data, if it is more, you can just put into the cloud, take the data, and then put back the data and all. The whole, all these 3 comes under one package, what we call as the geospatial information. So, what is it? It is a part of the decision-making process, like what our commissioner was just telling. When we go with the technology, what the decision makers, what they just say, we do not want the technology. I want whether you can do this or not. See, for example, if they don't have the water, can you just provide water? How to provide water? How much I have to just spend? So that is what this technology has to taken care of. Though that way, we have to just have the, what is the problem statement, then have the data of the geographical data or the ground-based data, which of course we have just seen in the morning, since morning, the socio-economic data and other ancillary data, whatever the data it is available, put into that one box. You just integrate the whole data, observe the data, you just have different questions. You can create the questions, what it can just do, how it can just do, whether the humanity it will be there or not, what is the financial outlay of that one, how much impact it will just have. So all these things, you formulate the question, observe the data, acquire the data, analyze all the data what I just told, and try to seek the solution and go for the mitigate and then the change. So that is the cycle, the data, rather you can just say the technology, it goes. How? See, you can just have, that is what we just have, you just attack the you just go with the local and then come to the global one. So you can just go in the managing the places, it can be in the form of a watershed, or it can be a community, or it can be a neighborhood, or it can be a district. So this is how you can just have the data and have the content of all that information. And from that one, from the local to global, if you just go, you can try to find what is seen in the whole world. So for example, in the tropical area, once you just have it, the same technology can be applied to the same agroclimatic zones. So you can have the trends, you can have the linkages, you can have the patterns, so that you can repeat the technology where all other climatic zones it fits in. For example, this is what, in fact, morning Divakar was also just telling. When you just see the 10th December data, the first one, there is no water. In fact, that is for the irrigation purpose. And the same area, if you just take it 3rd January, you can just see how much of the irrigation it has been just done. And in case of 12th January, it is completely the whole basin, it is just irrigated. So this is the real-time data. For example, depending upon your need, if you want to have the real-time, or if you want to just have like your real-time data or a recorded data, you can just have the data in any form. And that is with respect to surface, with respect to the subsurface or the ground. How many people just used to ask how a satellite can just give the groundwater information, because it is on the top, and when you just go to the underground, how it happens. You can just see this one, all that reddish one, we have just given for the better visibility. All the green, here it appears red. All that red one, they are all along one line. That one line is nothing but, they are all the potential area where Dr. Lingaraju and Dr. Hegde and all those things, they are called as a lineaments, or that is called the fracture or the fault zone. So all this information, you just put it. These are the content, what I just told you previously. All the contents, you put it in the form of a map. So you can just see the hydrological information, the groundwater, where the groundwater is overexploited, or how the groundwater moves from which place to one place to other place, and also where the groundwater stops, barriers, where it stops. So all the information can be had from the satellite images, or you can just say remote sensing and then the JS techniques. So this is what morning Chairman Dr. Kiran Kumar was just mentioning. We have the information, the groundwater prospect information for entire country. In fact, I was the national director for preparing this map for the entire country before my retirement, before I joined to RRP, River Rejuvenation Project. So the problem is over here, it is all in 1:50,000. The purpose of giving this, rather going for this map, ISRO wanted to just have the map for the decision makers. Up to the district level, we have just given all that information. Then ISRO said, okay, you people will just take through your department, you can just go, and then whatever the way you want to have the information, you can just take that information from the Bhuvan or from the ISRO side or from any other side. So even though the information, if it is there, we cannot use it directly. We can only take that information and try to enlarge or try to put it as per our requirement. So this is what morning also Mr. Divakar was just telling. We take the Bhuvan map, download the map. See, it is of, instead of just going a satellite image, whatever I was just telling, taking the content and then doing all these things. If somebody has already just done it, you take the content, instead of going from the scratch, we take from the intermediate level and then try to do what we can just do. Then we prepare the contour also, because for the engineers, they just need the contours. So we have the map from the Bhuvan, we prepare this one, and try to just put, for example, the previous map, it will just give only the major watershed. What we are just doing is, we just try to put that information, enlarge up to the micro watershed level. So you can just see all the small thing at the micro watershed level, where the information, the detailed information, you can able to record or you can able to just do it. So this is what, see, for example, the previous one, if you just go, it is because when we just go for the water is a natural boundary. You cannot just have a boundary, artificial boundary and all. Whereas once you have the taluk boundary, village boundary or the district boundary, they are all the administrative boundaries. It is nothing to do with the natural boundaries. So we just take that information as a natural boundary, as a watershed, then get into small micro watershed. Then depending upon our requirement, for example, the right corner, top corner, you just give all that information in terms of taluk, village, or whatever the way you want, panchayat, any way you can want it. So you can just carve out all that information. That is the beauty of this technology. That is the beauty of the geospatial technology. So whatever the way you want, you can just get that information. First, you just take the major information, basic information, try to take it whatever the way you just want. So this is how we prepare that information which I just told. You can just see the left hand side. There are many information, all getting integrated into the action plan map. So this is how a mini water, for example, you have just seen only the major watershed. So the mini watershed, it comes like this. So all the individual information with respect to what is the Boulder Check Dam and where is the water pool, all small things also you can able to put it. So here only whenever, for example, when you just go for all the recharge structures, the GPS is an important technology where it is used to locate the place where the recharge wells are to be made. Because when you just give the execution team, they ask where to go. You have to just give the exact position. So the GPS we just give. The coordinates in the action plans are matched with the GPS coordinates, and mainly these are all used with the actual coordinates where the recharge wells are built. So this is how, for example, if you just see the one, the Nalaband, it is just given, and we just give, for example, when you just go the automation, there are so many criteria you can just follow, so that the machine itself can try to just put the artificial, rather you can just say where you can just go for the water harvesting structures and all. So that's how we just put it, and then try to filter out where you can just go for it as per the priority and all. So you can just see it should be on the first or fourth order stream. There are so many other this thing which, okay. So in the similar way, you can just go for the inversion well, that is the injection well and all. So the points we can able to just see from the image or from the map, try to just give it to the execution team in the field. So this is nothing but the, what is that, subsurface dike, of course, which is the favorite subject of Dr. Sitaram. I think he will just talk about this, I believe. So this where the suitable structure, subsurface structure, it should go, also you can just get it. Okay, apart from that, we also just do the internet mapping technologies, which where Mr. Pratap Hegde will be just talking more about this. We use the Google Earth, we use the Google My Map also as a reference of this site, prepare the action plan, upload the action plan in My Map, so that the person who is in the field, he can able to just see where he is there and what he is to do, and all that information, it will be just loaded on the My Map and the Google. So the coordinates of the, for example, this is the one. The whole thing, once the action plan is mapped, we just put it on the Google My Map, send it to the execution team in the field. So they have, in fact, we have got a small app called Collect. So whatever the information, whatever the boulder check he is doing, or whether he is just doing other injection well, or he is just doing the water pool, all that information he just gets it. How he gets it? Moment that My Map, the whole load is information is loaded, we just have the interaction between the central office, that is the Bangalore, or any part of the country. For example, in case Tamil Nadu, or part of the outside of the Kumudavati river, or you can just say Maharashtra, the whole information. For example, if you just talk about the Kumudavati, the borewell survey impact assessment he just made, and all that information we can just say, in fact, time is not there. What I want to just say is, we have the mutual exchange of the data between the central office and then the engineer working on the field. So we try to just have, if there any information, if there any problem is there, the whole thing just get exchanged. And for example, village, what is the Gram Panchayat, what is the recharge structures available, everything it is just there on the map, and it just comes to the office. So this is how, and also not that we can just see the photograph of the particular area. For example, here in case of
1 minute, please.
how much? 1 minute?
For 1 minute. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is how the geotagging, what we call. See, whatever the people, wherever the information it is just there. The boulder check, if it is just there, he cannot just go to the other site and then just do. Only that site only he can take that information. So the photographs and all, it is just taken. So this is how the field data we just process in the central office, and then the field data is completely processed. Then it just update again on the mobile. It goes to the ground, and you can just see who is the person collecting the information, what are all the information, everything it is just coming. So the whole data bank, it is just created. So this is how we can just say the geographic knowledge or the geospatial data. We have the inventory, we have the execution, and if you want to just put it, in fact, where we have to work on more in the way forward, we have to go for the decision support automation. That is where we are lacking. We can just put into these two theories so that the citizen just have the benefit. So we can just achieving the best requires all of us, but working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Subramania. Thank you very much. Yeah. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Nana Shib Maha Rao. Rao. Director NR SCISRO. Your topic is the role of ISRO in river rejuvenation at the micro watershed and the village level. Thank you very much. Please.
Thank you. Well, respected chair, co-chair, co-speakers, and distinguished delegates in the audience. A very good afternoon to all of you. Well, in fact, my job has been made rather simple by my two senior colleagues in the morning, Dr. Divakar, Scientific Secretary of ISRO, and a couple of minutes back, my other senior colleague, Dr. S.K. Subramaniam. So, in fact, this lecture is to be actually delivered by our director, Dr. Y.V.N. Krishnamurthy, but he could not make it to this conference, and so I'm trying to fill his position. Well, you may find some of the slides repeated, having seen some of them already in the previous presentation. And like Dr. Subramaniam mentioned very rightly, it is the father of space program of India who has stated that we must be second to none in the application of advanced technologies to the real problems of man and society. I think this is the very right forum to recollect this particular statement of the father of space program in India, because we are seeing very well the way space technology is being used in bringing reverse rejuvenation. I think we are realizing the dream of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. Well, I come from this organization at the bottom right, NRSC, National Remote Sensing Center, and how we are relevant in this particular endeavor of reverse rejuvenation, I will try to bring up in the next slide. Well, if you look at the NRSC ISRO activity spectrum, you will see that NRSC has the ground station that receives the data from satellites, not only from the Indian satellites, also from the international satellites, and does the necessary pre-processing, and then converts the data into usable form by the users. And that is standard product. Then the data is converted into information by value addition. You will be generating some of those products that will be having more relevance to the common man's understanding and using it in his studies and applications. Then we go one step further and develop the geophysical products and thematic layers of various disciplines. And that is where the application scientists working in various disciplines come into picture, and they take the data further and find solutions to some of the problems. And those problems are, those solutions are given to the users in general in the line departments. So that is how we come into picture. And we also have aerial platforms for collecting aerial data as and when it is required at very large scale mapping sort of applications. Then the web portal, which has been of a recent addition, I would say, compared to the overall remote sensing activity what we have been doing, has become quite popular for the reason that it has been serving many users with a very wide range of data products, right from satellite data to the finished product that can be straight away taken to the field and used. So web portals and services are the ones we have been discussing in the morning in Dr. Divakar's presentation and also briefly touched upon by Dr. Subramaniam. And then we also have an important role in capacity building in the country in the use of space technology. And in the morning there was a question regarding training opportunities on Bhuvan. In fact, NRSC has been organizing training programs of 1 day duration, 2 day duration on Bhuvan and its how it can be used and how users can benefit by using Bhuvan Geo portal. And it is always possible to customize training programs, and many such customized programs have been given to the people some of those users coming from specific areas. So if such a thing is streamlined through the art of living, I think we can certainly cater to that kind of requirement. Well, coming to the current conference topic, river basin rejuvenation is very important towards replenishing the water resources of the watershed itself. And you may say it, you replenish watershed and so rivers are rejuvenated. That is quite acceptable. But this needs a very scientific approach. And the scientific approach is possible by using the data that is coming from remote sensing, which captures data on repeated basis in a spatial form in various electromagnetic spectral bands, providing different thematic information. So that is when we entered into an MOU with Vyakti Vikas Kendra of India, that is the art of living, I would say. And then the project title for which we have been in Memorandum of Understanding reads River Basin Rejuvenation and Watershed Development for Karnataka, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu states using remote sensing and GIS data. In fact, this has been mentioned by Dr. Lingaraj garu this morning in his welcome address as well. Well, then what are all the thematic layers, information that is available for such efforts? If you see, we have groundwater prospects maps that have been generated for the whole country, and the data is now available for use for visualization through Bhuvan portal, and through WFS services, the Art of Living has been using it in its study areas. And similarly, the geomorphological and lineament mapping, a national project that has been taken up by ISRO and carried out, and that is one of the important inputs that gives scope for studies on groundwater, mineral exploration, and geohazards sort of studies. Then other important thematic layers that are important for such studies is the land use land cover maps, which are being generated on annual basis at 250,000 scale, and once in every 5 years at 50,000 scale for the whole country, and those are also available along with the Carto DEM, which is available in public domain at 30-meter resolution. Then this is an example for the land use land cover map of the whole country, and this is the Carto DEM for the India and its surrounding countries. Well, I think Dr. Subramaniam has spared my efforts by already in detail explaining this particular slide. How groundwater prospects maps can be generated, he has gone through very clearly and elaborately, so I skip this one. Well, this is how you will be in a position to make use of satellite data. This is for the Pochampalli watershed in Nalgonda district of Telangana state. And you can see on the right side, the map is giving the hydrogeological units and the yield for each of those zones, while it is also depicting the faults and fractures. So it's a comprehensive information that is captured and being made available for planning purpose. Then another important activity which has great relevance to this conference is the Integrated Watershed Management Program for the Ministry of Rural Development, where ISRO has been playing a very, very important role by developing the necessary mobile apps and also geoportal applications for generating assets and uploading to the geoportal, and also to monitor and evaluate the watershed management programs, how they are doing in the country. So using satellite data acquired once in every year, these initiatives are being monitored. And that is where role of NRSC and ISRO has been quite significant. And as we all know, IWMP aims to bring ecological balance by harnessing, conserving, and developing degraded natural resources, such as soil, vegetation cover, and water. So at the end of the project period, the realization should be something like prevention of soil runoff, regeneration of vegetation, and rainwater harvesting and recharging of the groundwater table. So these are the ultimately aimed objectives of IWMP, and which is being monitored using space technology again. So we have Srishti for monitoring and evaluation purpose, and we have Drishti, the apps for generating assets and porting to the Bhuvan portal. And about 8,200 IWMP projects across the country are going on. And under these projects, there are about 75,000 micro watersheds that are being monitored. So it's a huge effort, and hopefully it will also yield very, very beneficial results at the end of it. And if you see, this slide just brings out the two aspects what I mentioned, Srishti and Drishti, and how the information can be captured. Like Dr. Subramaniam mentioned, these projects use the geospatial technologies, including space technology, by using mobile apps, navigational tools like GPS or Navic, and GIS, and of course remote sensing. So all these three aspects are going into the picture. This gives you one example of the state of Odisha, how the IWMP projects are spread all over the state, and the lower left picture shows how many of those assets have been geotagged, and the information is available on the Bhuvan Geo portal. And you can see the structure that has been created, which has been captured by the mobile app and uploaded to the Bhuvan Geo portal. Well, in order to take very judicious decisions, you need to have information generated on various thematic layers, and that is what is being done on the left side panel that shows the drainage network, satellite imagery for delineating the watershed boundaries, land use, land cover, groundwater potential prospects maps, and soil information. All this is going into making the decisions where and when to take up any action plans for implementation. This is one such example where the efforts are monitored using 2010 to 2013, the kind of farm ponds, how they have come up and how they are doing over a period of time. Well, this is another example. In fact, in the previous session, there was a question, how best we are validating some of those efforts and what kind of consistency and sustenance these projects are going through. This is one such example in Chhattisgarh, where you can see in 2002, the groundwater table is somewhere around minus 17, minus 20, minus 29 meters sort of depth for various villages, whereas in 2010, if you see, the performance of the efforts under restoration of groundwater, you can see the water table rise by a considerable extent, which is marked in the green on the right side. Well, another important activity that ISRO has taken up in collaboration with the Central Water Commission is reassessment of water resources of the country. And in 1993, when these resources have been assessed, it was about 1869 BCM was the estimated assessed one. And in recent assessment carried out in 2017, it has grown to 1924 BCM. And again, space technology has played its role by bringing various aspects like LULC, DEM, groundwater flux, irrigation command area information, and soil information. And a comparison by basin, if you see, this is the kind of situation that could be assessed. And of course, this particular information is available on CWC website, and it is for feedback and comments from all those who are interested in going through that and then making the comments available for further refinement. Well, again, using temporal data, the irrigation potential utilization can be assessed, and this is one such effort. You can see when irrigation infrastructure has been built, what kind of difference it has made in terms of irrigation potential utilization has been captured in this particular slide. You can see the bar diagram, the performance in blue shows before the irrigation infrastructure has been put in place, and the performance after the irrigation infrastructure is made available for taking up the irrigation this thing. Well, this slide, you have already seen it in the morning, and on once in every 15 days, for all those water bodies in the country of greater than 2 hectares are being mapped on regular basis, and efforts are on for mapping smaller water bodies of the country as well. And seeing the potential of such water bodies for addressing the blue economy, particularly for inland fisheries and near coastal water bodies for fishery purposes, this information is going to play a very important role, and that is being addressed by generating such information using remote sensing data. Of course, such data would be also useful in other studies such as climate change assessment if you need. That is one of those important inputs as well. Well, this is where the data is all being put and being made available to users in the country. And there are tools for doing analysis, calling the data of of your interest, do analysis yourself, and then generate the shape files and use it in your own applications. So such options are also available. And for each of the states, there are state portals addressing specific needs of each of those states on various themes. Well, we are glad to say that NRSC, ISRO is in a position to share the data for river rejuvenation efforts taken up by the Art of Living. And as you see, these are the states and the study areas for which the data has been made available. So while thanking the Art of Living for making ISRO part of these endeavors, I conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rao, and thank you for sticking to time. It's my real pleasure now to introduce Professor Sitaram. He doesn't need much of an introduction. He has a worldwide reputation in geotechnical engineering, and he's going to talk on the role of geotechnology in river rejuvenation schemes works. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, Co-Chairman, and fellow speakers, distinguished guests, able members, and scientists, geologists, space scientists. Very good afternoon to all of you. It is really a great pleasure for me to be here in front of you to share some of my thoughts. Rather than making a detailed presentation, I would like to share some thoughts. So we have heard since morning several talks. So that means we are trying to look at the ground below our feet through satellites. Fantastic applications, great science has come. But if you remember how Britishers, Roger is here, mapped the entire India by foot. So today geologists are turned into space scientists. Many of them. I think it's slightly a concern because one of the question came that are we really looking at the ground? Are we looking at only geomorphologies and the surface, and do we know enough about it to do something, interventions in the ground? This is a big, I thought, a thought process I should put into all of your mind when you are looking at river rejuvenations. So the role of geotechnology, I'm going to highlight to you today in river rejuvenation work, because river is very central to all of us. Okay, whether it is spiritual, our food, our energy, anything you say depends on water today. And we need to be very careful while doing something, particularly understand that very carefully. I would like to quote very famous geomechanics professor, Drucker, as early as 1980. What did he say? Drucker said, if even 1/10 of the money what has been spent on space sciences and other sciences put into geotechnical and geology, you would have been better understood our Mother Earth than understanding from space. I don't know whether I would call him wrong, but that's the state of the science today. We haven't really understood much of it below the ground. There is a lot of things which are unknown to us. And how do we address them? And what are the techniques do we have? Some people were telling about geophysical measurements. Geotechnology today has advanced so much. But can we boast of even one geotechnical investigation company who can give you the correct information in the country? It's a very, very serious matter. We should look at it. Because none of the agencies really go to field and do a proper boring, takes proper sampling, test them, understand them, and give the results. Most of them cook the results and write the report sitting in an air-conditioned office. And today, space science has also helped us. So not going to field, we can look at everything from the space. Anyway, this is on a lighter note, ladies and gentlemen, but I would like to highlight this to you. Please think seriously something about to do something on geotechnology. So today, my talk, I'm going to highlight to you how much geotechnical and geology is relevant to what all we're talking about today. That is, hydrology is intricately connected to geotechnical engineering. And then we'll look at sustainable water solutions, because our goal is to replenish the ground water and have more water for all of us. Third aspect, I will also highlight to you how the river dynamics changes where it is born in the hills and then flows through the middle region and goes to the coastal region and joins the ocean. How much are we using the water? We have seen so many charts showing water. India is a water-stressed country. Is it really? Is the question we need to ask. Actually, if you go to Sir Arthur Cotton, as early as 1887. What did he say? He is called as the father of irrigation in India. Arthur Cotton, who built the Doleshwaram barrage across river Godavari. Did we change any scenario since 1887? I don't think so. Let me give you some statistics on that. So rainwater harvesting techniques, fantastic. That's the techniques we are today talking about it, and we need to do more. There is no second doubt about it. That's why I joined my hands with Dr. Lingarajuji. Let's look at some of the geotechnologies also to stop. And have anybody else has done this? Then I'm going to talk to you on geotechnical structures, which are going to be helpful for rejuvenation of rivers, such as check dams, other harvesting structures which are on surface, subsurface dams. Have you heard of them? Because we have done many. And we all, our ancient civilization, we are the world leaders in the world. Ancient civilization has told us storing water a little bit below the ground, it will not evaporate. Then underground dams. Then, my friends are here, we'll also look at the coastal reservoirs. So earth and water are intricately connected. Water through precipitation is first received by the earth. Definitely space. That's why I think space scientists are doing a lot of work. So it passes through the space and then come to the earth. In addition to storage of water in dams and surface water bodies, a small portion, actually not large portion, gets into the ground. I can show statistics to you, small portion, which is very critical for all of us. At least in the last 50 years, we haven't seen not much usage from our dams, even though we have built large number of dams. We are pumping from groundwater, and I can hear a very strong voice from some of the geologists saying we should stop pumping water from groundwater. So geotechniques is a scientific application of scientific methods and engineering principles to acquisition of and interpretation and use of knowledge of materials of earth, crust and earth materials. So this is what our even geologists started doing it, by foot. The entire country was mapped for minerals, rocks, water, by our geologists. I can say, a joke is there, British geologists did not do their country mapped so well as what they did for India. They have mapped the entire inch of India, starting from Himalayas to Kanyakumari. Why? In search of minerals, wealth, resources, including water. Geotechnical structures like diaphragm walls, underground dams. We haven't even discussed this in the reservoir rejuvenation works today. Thus, they have a potential to really raise your river water above. And new geomaterial. I didn't talk about it at all. Filters. One of the friends asked a filter question. Today, we don't need to look at filters what Terzaghi designed using sand and silts. Today, we have fantastic filters. Sir, you can put it and forget about it. They will work forever. 150 years. It has been tested. Geofabrics are the fantastic filters with very controlled conditions, manufactured in the factory, not like you are constructing in the site with a lot of variations in sand and silt and other things. Hydrology is a scientific study of the movement, distribution, and quality of water on Earth, including hydrological cycle, water resources, and environmental water sustainability. So you can see now the very fantastic link between geotechnical engineering or geology, I'll say shallow subsurface geology, and hydrology. So I don't need to explain this. So we are now looking at only through the space. We need to do something below. What are those? We need to drill boreholes. We need to there are fantastic borehole cameras. We need to understand how the fractures, fissures, and there need to be a very good science happen. I'm not saying nothing much has happened. There is a lot of studies have happened, and they are still happening. But the focus what has been given to space science, as we heard throughout the day, is not given to the geology. Maybe because the Mother Earth, like our mother, we take her for granted. We have taken her for granted. Today, because our rivers are so badly dry, it is because we have given stepmotherly treatment to our Mother Earth. We need to do much more studies, scientific understanding of the Mother Earth. rather than just looking through the eyes of the satellites. We have a better eyes and better tools, hand, legs. We need to move in the forest and go. But none of us are youngsters would like to go into the forest like our older geologists used to do. They all would like to do, oh, I would like to take a LIDAR survey. Even a contour survey has become so easy today through the LIDAR. You know, just half an hour you fly through, you get all the contouring done. Or even maybe my friends from space will give you 1 centimeter contouring from the space. That's basically it. So materials, I tell you, in civil engineering, anything has changed. This is geosynthetics. Geosynthetics is the greatest innovation in civil engineering. Today, the way in which we build our flyovers, structures, are all no more concrete. They're all reinforced earth structures. Soil has been reinforced with geosynthetics, whether it is geomembranes, geofabrics, geofilters, all are attached with geo, like our GIS, geospatial technologies. Sorry. So these are the corollary, we can see even in geotechnical engineering. Greatest innovations in geotechnical engineering today has happened in geosynthetics application. See, I can show you, these are the membranes. You can use it as a completely cut-off trench, cut-off walls, and create subsurface dikes. This is a geosynthetic clay liner, 100% see-through, even through a, we are doing that in solid waste management and hazardous waste landfills. It is not that we do not know, but some of these have not entered into other areas of geotechnical engineering. And geocells, and they're fantastic materials. So the imagination is the limit to solve a problem using these techniques. And these are all permanent. People, when I present these, some of the people who doesn't know anything about geotechnical engineering, geosynthetics, they'll say, oh, can we put these plastics into the ground? Sir, please believe me, 150 years, nothing is going to happen, and being very well tested. These are coexist. That's why it's called as geo materials. So let me come back to the source and water. As I told you, are we really having a shortage of water? See, we have to do, for example, rainwater, surface water, subsurface flow, groundwater, and seawater. There are plenty of options for us. Primary renewable source is definitely rainfall. How much of rainfall we are receiving in a country? 4,000 billion cubic meter of water, 4,000 kilometer cube of water is falling in India every year. In the last 200 years, there may be a change of 2 to 3% only. That means precipitation has not changed, ladies and gentlemen. It is almost same. How much we are storing in our dams, and have you done enough? We are the third largest dam building nation in the world. More than 6,000 large dams. After China and USA, we are the third largest dam building nation in the world since independence. Majority of our dams are built in 1970. And majority of them are earth dams. 80% of them are earth dams out of 6,000 dams. But what is that we are storing? Less than 10% of the precipitation we receive. What is the average per capita storage we have? We are less than Ethiopia. Ladies and gentlemen, believe, today we are facing this problem because of that. Storage is a major issue. We need to store. Where do we store water? Because we have built large dams, there is no, please, you can't dream of building a large dam anymore in India. Not only in India, in the whole world. Okay? Because if you look at the ICOLD recommendations, after 2000, large dam construction is almost zero. And we took almost 55 years to build one large dam of Sardar Sarovar Dam, which was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi in September 18th, recently. When it was conceived, Jawaharlal Nehru conceived it in 1962, before my birth. Floodwaters is another one. See, we all show that we are shortage of water, we are shortage of water, we are shortage of water. Definitely we are shortage of water if we don't look at the floodwaters. Arthur Cotton said, I have to read this to you. This is a fantastic statement. He has to actually support Indians. In 1878, Sir Arthur Cotton had to appear before a House of Commons committee to justify the proposal to build the Anicut at Dwaleshwaram across the Godavari. And he said, further hearing in the House of the Commons, followed by his letter to the then Secretary of State for India, reveals his ambition to build the Anicut across the Godavari. His letter concluded, my lord, 1 day's flows of Godavari river, 1 day's flow of Godavari river during high floods is equal to 1 whole year's flow of Thames of London. 1 whole year of Thames of London. That means even today that has not changed, ladies and gentlemen. 3,000 TMC of water is simply flowing from Godavari river into the ocean in the months of June or July, August, September, in the monsoon months. What is that we are talking about? 3,000 TMC of water. We are fighting for 10 TMC of water with Tamil Nadu, 10 TMC of water with Mahadayi, with Goa and thing. So 3,000 TMC. So that means we have to have Sir Arthur Cotton again to build another barrage or diversion of structure for us. So average rainfall, as I told you, has not changed. This is from almost like 200 years data. I put it here. So this is what I said. Flood water is very, very large amount of it is going into the ocean. So we need to now store that water. Where is that storage? To only 2 locations. Because we cannot build any more large dams. We have to fill our tanks, desilt them, and also do river rejuvenation, store them in the ground, recharge our ground. And the third option is maybe store them in the ocean. I will not talk that today because that's not the agenda here. Water storage, as I told you, is very, very essential. Store water in the underground is the concept what river rejuvenation comes to. So as I told you, annual water storage available per capita in India is 225 cubic meters per capita annually, per capita. But what is China has done? Already 1,200 meter cube per capita they're storing. They're much better than us, even though their population is equivalent. So we can't compare with Singapore, Malaysia, they're small countries. So reducing water potential in this relation to changing processes is shown by Dr. Lingaraju very well. You can see in the past, rejuvenation or the recharging of the ground is to happen naturally. Through his slides, he fantastically showed that. But now, with all these building infrastructure and stopping all the underground water getting into, so that's why many of our cities are flooding today, ladies and gentlemen, because of this concrete jungle. These are all flooding artificially created by us. So let's look at the rivers. The upper course river flow with very high velocities. V-legged valleys, vertical this thing, and then middle course is somewhere here. I think pointer is not working, or it's too bright. Anyway, the lower course where almost the velocity becomes very stopped and all the siltations is going to happen. So all our structures, what we are thinking about to harvest the water, we should actually look at where we are. What all Dr. Lingaraju talked to you is in the upper reaches. And in the middle reaches, we have built large dams. And the lower reaches. So where will be our future reservoirs, ladies and gentlemen? The future reservoirs for storage, for handling the water kind of problem what Roger told us morning. We have to look at it. So the selection of a suitable technique for artificial recharge of groundwater depends on various factors. That is quantum of non-committed surface runoff available, rainfall pattern, land use and vegetation, topography, and soil type and soil depth, thickness of weathered or granular zones, hydrological and geological characteristics. And then please look at the last 2 points, very important, and which was very reasonably addressed. Socio-economical condition and infrastructure facilities available for the people who want to use them. Environmental and ecological impacts of artificial recharge of the proposed scheme also needs to be studied. Scope of rejuvenation, innovative and integrated methods to harvest rainwater and recharge the groundwater. They reduce the rate of runoff. The first goal is reduce the rate of runoff. What is fantastically showed, check dams, whatever you can reduce. Please reduce their speed. So today water is simply running because our horizontal velocities of our top surface ground is very, very high when compared to vertical velocities. That is all because we have actually created a lot of soil erosion. We have removed randomly our soil and sand from our river courses. So we have increased the horizontal flow as against the vertical flow. So we need to stop that horizontal flow so that water remains in our Mother Earth, join simply joining the ocean. I'm not talking about the entire water. Even if you want it, you can't stop all the water because it's large amount of water. 80% water, if you store on land, all our land will be underwater by 2 meters, 2.5 meters. So there is no place to live. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about percentages, small percentages of storage of water underground. Groundwater rejuvenation using a combination of various water recharging techniques at appropriate location. Let's look at them. Possible rainwater harvesting techniques. 2 more. Check dams, nala bunds, contour ring trenches, percolation tanks, soak pits, subsurface dikes, sand dams, infiltration wells, injection wells, that is for deeper, water pools, then subsurface dams or underground dams, and then the coastal reservoirs. So I just go through some pictures. Your contour bunds, pits and shafts, bold checks thanks to AOL. This is the picture of AOL. These are AOL credits is given there, 2016. Water pools. Afforestation is a critical aspect of all these things. See, we heard some people only planting trees would not solve the problem, but we need to do all these together. Underground dams, please look at it. What is an underground dam? Again, at the top right-hand side is a dam which is above the ground. The left-hand side is underground. Underground can be near the coast also. It can stop the infiltration of the salt water into the land. Okay? So it's a fantastic concept. We need to look at how, why they have done, and I don't think we have so much time to talk about it. Surface dike and river course. Since water is stored in the aquifers or below the ground, the evaporation losses are very limited. It only happens in the top 60 centimeters, ladies and gentlemen. If it is a surface water body, it can simply evaporate because of the temperature rise and climate change.
Prof. Sitaram, you've 2 more minutes? Yes. Okay. Promise.
So this is an underground dam, ladies and gentlemen. There are so many technologies today to build them because we can use many concrete, bricks, and geosynthetics, synthetic clay liners, and diaphragm walls. Many technologies are there. Today there is no, see actually Saudi Arabia is planning to build a subsurface dike in their land 50 meter tall to store desalinated water for emergencies. Please remember, not river flood water, desalinated water. So can't we think about something storage of this excess water which is available in our land somewhere in underground? So construction of an underground dam, you see, along the river course you cut a trench, put the geomembrane, close it. That's it, 2 days. Today's technology, 2 days, I can construct an underground dam. So that's been done in India too. It is done by near Swarnamakhi River, near Tirupati, Tirumala Hills, when they constructed a well on the top of the hills, then automatically water flow was less in the river. They have constructed this at 4 locations and clearly demonstrated underground dams are going to be functionally very well. Okay? So why storing in sand? I've already told you. I'll skip this, lack of time. If I can show you, only top 60 centimeters is the evaporation losses in the sand. How to find potential riverbeds to construct subsurface dikes? One is geography, topography, hydrology, geology, technical aspects, and then social aspects. Because there must be some people to use it. Simply build something in the woods is no use. We have to build subsurface dam closer to the community, where community can benefit from that. Alternative materials for line, there are hundreds of them today, ladies and gentlemen. Very simple, very quick, and very cheap. Subsurface dams in Japan, you can imagine, Japan has thousands of subsurface dams, very close to the coast. The map clearly shows they are self-sufficient in water. Nothing is seen, no dam is seen, no terrorist threats to damage the bomb, put the bomb on the dam, because everything is below the ground. Example of surface dam, you can ask a question, sir, subsurface dam can only give you a small quantity of water. No, please look at, these are small quantities, but you can get almost like 10.5 million meter cube of water. It's not small, okay? Subsurface dams have been constructed very large sizes in the ground.
Excuse me, you promised me 2 minutes.
Done.
Already.
Done.
Already had 4.
Done, last slide.
I admire your enthusiasm.
India's traditional water harvesting structures. Please remember, our civilization has really taught us many, many things. We need to look at some of these structures again. I request the honorable audience here to look at some of these structures. And that is particularly, I would like to say, Bawdi, Ahar Pines, fantastic structures. Even Sir Arthur Cotton complimented the Bengal canals, you know, and we need to relook at them because we have killed some of them. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, all I can say is if the young people of India have as much enthusiasm to address the water challenges as Professor Sitaram has just shown in his talk, you have no problems in the future.
You have too many things to share. Unfortunately, we have to control, we have to make everything to run. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Hegde, CEO Telematic for You, to give us a presentation, please.
Good evening, everybody. And a good news, I'm the last speaker. Yeah, and I promise the chair of the session that I will not hold your dinner. And you have special challenge when you have professors, renowned professors like Sitaraman as your speaker before. It was around 3 years back, I was walking across River Kumudwati feeling so bad about the state of affairs. After a few days, I saw one news article about what Art of Living is trying to do for the rejuvenation of Kumudwati. I sent a mail to them. Promptly came the reply from Mr. Prabhu saying that we would like to meet you. And that is how my association with this great project started. When I met the team, I realized I had known Dr. Lingaraju earlier. The first question which I asked sir was, sir, you are retired. But actually, post-retirement, Lingaraju sir became more active, and such a phenomenal project. Such a phenomenal project. And that gives me hope. That gives me hope that things can happen. Energies, funds, people can converge together behind one great intention, an intention of purity of Sri Ravi Shankar. And I was amazed because I have a house, I have a farmland and an organic farm very close to River Kumudwati. When they all came there, they started coming to my place. One day I saw the young volunteers. I looked at their energy and the commitment. And now I can tell you, there is hope. And the way in which the people, the corporate sector, through their CSR initiative, the technocrats, the scientists, how everyone is converging at one point to make some magic happen. And I have seen that magic this year myself. The Kumudwati has started flowing. And I'm here to talk about the technology, Internet of Things. Perhaps the time will not be too far. A technology is also available today to monitor the water, the moisture, and everything about a river can be monitored in the real time. That is IoT is all about. A river can be as intelligent as we are. river is intelligent. I firmly believe in it. In any physical level also, river can be intelligent, and it can keep telling us in the real time what is happening where. That's all about, that is the technology about Internet of Things. We all have seen in the last 10, 15 years the Internet of People. People got connected at a very physical level, visible level. People got connected through smartphones. People got connected through the internet essentially. And we saw the new kind of digital communities like Facebook. And we are entering another space today that is nothing but Internet of everything. Everything can be talking to each other, much beyond people. Rivers can speak to each other. All these chairs can tell us, I am empty and I am filled. By the way, I was hoping to have a very, very empty auditorium. Being a last speaker, thank you so much. I think so many people still, that shows your commitment, that shows your enthusiasm. Thank you so much about that. The world has been moving from an agricultural age to the industrial age to the information age. Now we are moving to next big time called conceptual age. This IoT has something to do with this. If you look back, we had a very peaceful age called agricultural age. Go back in the history around 150 years back, perhaps even little more, India used to be the #1 economy at that time. Most of the world economy was India. And that's why even Westerners started coming, searching for India. And you know the story. What was the economy at that time? It was an agricultural economy. It was a self-sufficient economy. It was an inclusive economy. There was a lot of peace. There was less diseases. There was more happiness. The GDP was much lower. With the increased economy today, the size of the economy and the growth which we are talking about, certainly we have not achieved more peace, more happiness. What has gone into is an industrial economy, and after that the information economy. Still, basic objectives of an economic fulfillment has not been achieved. What is this economy is all about? Economics, oikonomia, that is the original word in Greek. There are 3 words there, oikos, logos, and nomos. Oikos is home. What is home? Our ancestors never said home as my bedroom, my hall, my kitchen, my bathroom. The entire world around the earth was our home, which is inclusive, which included not just human beings, it also included animals, which also included birds, which also included trees. Somewhere we forgot all this. That was the real home. We called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And that was the inclusiveness. And the next word, the logos, was knowledge. The third word, nomos, was management. The management of the ecology was the economy. Somewhere we twisted the concept. We created some other economy, what it is today. It is not the real economy. This kind of initiatives of river rejuvenation and management is getting back to the real economy, what we have been talking from morning. We need to resurrect the real economy and manage that real economy. Then came very linear very negative, sorry to say this, industrial revolution, greed-centric. Dirty cities got created, rivers got killed. And here we are. The fourth wave is not just IT, it is IoT, and that works, that enables, that empowers the conceptual new world. The conceptual new world which we are entering is completely changing. Hope you're all seeing the change outside in the outside world. The regular economy is no more working. There's a huge change happening in the governance. The concept of currency is changing. Now we are already entering a world of cryptocurrency. Who is managing, who is going to manage it is still a big question. Look at the new companies which are emerging. Facebook is not a typical company. Airbnb, this world's largest hospitality organization or the company, doesn't even own one room. Uber, perhaps the largest taxi company in this world, doesn't even own a taxi. This is called ecosystems, the business or economic ecosystems. The economy, even today, is trying to copy nature. It's all circular, shared economies. Some senior banker asked me recently, what is going to happen to the banks? Who will kill the banks? Because many businesses are getting killed today before our eyes. There is no business today for watches. There is no business today for cameras. The phone company took away the business. Nobody thought, maybe 20 years back in Bangalore, there was one HMT which was making watches, and there is one ITI which was making telephones. They never thought each other as competitors. But the phone companies took away the business of watch companies today. Now this can happen in any area. And coming back, today's businesses are, okay, I was talking about the banker's question. Who is going to take away the bank's business? I told whom you took away, whom you killed is going to kill you. Who is that? We didn't kill anybody. Yes, go back. There was no banking system 50 years back. There was bartering system. People used to give something and take something. I'm from a village. My mother used to run an agriculturist, and she never used to have cash. She used to give grow the grains, give the grains for the workers. There never used to be a question of giving salary in the form of cash. This is barter economy. It was working. Today it is coming back thanks to the technology. Once again, the barter economy is coming back. The bankers, big bankers, are in trouble. I have few slides to cover. Sorry. So this conceptual age is actually getting powered by Internet of Things. There are so many sensors, all kinds of sensors. We can have the sensors for everything. And these sensors can be connected through the wireless technologies. We have 3G and we have 4G and we are getting into 5G. There are newer kind of wireless technologies are coming up, and all this data can be pulled into a backend servers. We are talking about the cloud, and connected world is the world of tomorrow. This is the number, whatever of interest. But earlier it was only talking about how your home can be automated, what can be connected, but increasingly it is the outer world. This is what the major shift in the information technology, which was always, last 20-25 years, was automating the inner processes. An accounting system which is doing something inside the four walls of an office or inside the compound wall of a factory. Today, technology is going out in the real world. And that is IoT. It could be in the farming, it could be in the river rejuvenation, it could be in the transportation, logistics, everywhere, sensors, and making the whole activities intelligent and visible. Quickly, river rejuvenation efforts. I don't want to show more of the same slides. See, what could be done? One or two quick examples. Like one of the major area today is, sewage water management. And what is being flown into river. It is very, very important. With the great efforts and the investments and this level of commitment, you rejuvenate a river, unless the sewage which is getting into the river from those villages and the towns on both sides of the river, unless they are monitored, the whole effort would certainly be a question mark over a period of time. We need to ensure that we monitor this sewage discharge at every point. IoT can help greatly. Here is an example how some sensors can be fitted into the sewage discharge points. All the data can be transported to the back end. We can monitor. I will not get into too much technical details. I'm sure you are bored with too much of a technical inputs from morning. But this is how it is. We can discuss any technical details offline. This is another sand management. We ourselves have done considerable work here. Unless sand trade is regulated and controlled, it is impossible. We have done this in almost around 20 districts in Karnataka and another 10 to 15 districts in Andhra Pradesh we have started. What we did is simple. We just requested the district administration to bring one regulation. All the sand lorries and sand trucks need to be fitted with a device. It has got a GPS and it has got other intelligence. Make it compulsory. We put a sticker on all these vehicles, and all these vehicles must register themselves. In every district, around 800 to 1,000 trucks. We created the back-end system. Every truck has to come in the morning, pay the money, whatever need to be paid through DD to the district administration and collect the sand, and he takes the sand to the market. Now we're already releasing the mobile apps for the people, just like Uber or Ola. You can just look for a sand truck. It shows there. You can buy the sand directly from the trucker. What is the advantage? The district trucks are not able to go to Bangalore. In the most of the consumption of the sand happening is here. And the entire system has been given free of cost to the government. And how the project gets sustained, each of this trucker pays some small money, around 350 rupees, 400 rupees every month. And this money gets pooled. It's a classical model of an ecosystem. Everybody contributes and it runs. It's a self-governing system and successfully running. When we started this, people said sand is a mafia. Don't go near that. Actually, there is no mafia. There are small local gundas. Unnecessarily, people are upgrading them to the level of mafia. They are not. And limited technology and one or two senior good officers in the district, things get into control. This is how it happens. More details some other day. More sensors to manage many things on the river. Less of technology. I will conclude with this side. The universe is a continuous web. And universe is connected, whether with or without IoT. We are all connected. We are all connected together. And that's what philosophers say. That is what Advaita says. And here is a technology which adds one more layer of connectivity. And perhaps the convergence of true nature with the technology will help all of us to move forward. Thank you very much.
You are. Thank you very much. That was an excellent presentation, most stimulating. We've got 2 or 3 minutes for questions. And please, if you are going to ask a question, just ask one. Hang on a sec. I know you can't hear over there. I'll just wait for this chap to bring you the microphone. He's come in. He's nearly there. He's there.
And I got it. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for an excellent presentation, Mr. Hegre. My one question is to you. Have you implemented any sensors around river management? Because your second last slide showed us IoT-enabled river management. So any prototypes or any kind of, you know, simulated or maybe real-life implementation so far?
Yeah, when it comes to real-time monitoring of the river parameters, if that is the question which you are asking, no real-life implementation of any big scale. We have done some prototypes, we have done some technology demonstrations as of now. Because IoT is something very new, there were many other challenges which includes in a remote area, getting the data through wireless technology is an issue. But fortunately, now we are working on LoRa technology, which is, now it is possible to set up that wireless network quickly and bring the data into the cloud. Technology expertise is available. I'm sure if given an opportunity, we will do it for AOL very soon.
And you know that's becoming very prohibitive. So maybe offline, I would like to get into a discussion with you on your
we'll do that. See, cost is a simple GPS receiver which we are using in the sand trucks. Around 6 years back, it used to cost around 30,000 rupees. Today, we have it for 3,000 rupees or even less. So it's a matter of volume, it's a matter of time. It will come down. The sensors will come down as we enhance the usage. Coming to the wireless communication, it is a problem. Even SMS is a problem at certain places because the river flows where it flows. Okay, and fortunately, even today it flows when there are not many people around. So that's why there's still some amount of rivers are still living. So there are not established connectivity in those places, but we have solutions for that. LoRa is one of the new technology which is today available, which is interesting solution I can discuss offline.
Yes, sir, I have a question, same question to you.
Well, so,
yeah, 1 second. Okay, are you able to measure the quantity of the sand what these trucks are carrying? Possible with the sensors?
It's possible. It doesn't require a sensor. It just requires a weighbridge. What we are doing, I will give a parallel example.
See, why I'm telling you is what they pay to the government, district administration, and what they carry from the river basin, and what they sell it in the market.
We have created a platform. I will tell you, we have created a platform for iron ore in Goa. We have around 10,000 trucks. You know, every truck goes and to fill the iron ore, and after filling, he just goes above the weighbridge. And weighbridge is integrated into the cloud. Then we have the GPS in the vehicle, and when that vehicle goes above that weighbridge, that data is the actual data. That's how we have solved the problem.
No,
it's a little innovation.
Most of the business is controlled by the big politicians and their general and their families and their what you call all those people only are owning this.
Sir, I know the problem. Let me address this because this is one issue which one need to understand. This is what the fear is. And once the technology has a great force, once it becomes visible, many of these negative energies go away. It's like, you know, where is both? When you can't see, when there is no light, when there is a darkness, there could be both. When there is a light, there can be both in the light. So it is all that when you bring the technology, when you implement it, bring the visibility, most of the, I have seen it myself, what you need is same level of commitment, like what AOL, river rejuvenation is all about. There could be many impediments, but there are solutions.
Gentlemen. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to have to draw this session to a close because I was asked specifically, no, I'm sorry, I can't take any more questions. I have several myself, actually, that I would like to ask. So I promised faithfully that we would finish at 6. We're not far beyond 6. Do we have goodie bags? Oh, yes. So, yes, okay. I'll leave it to you. Can I thank all the speakers for their presentations? Mr. Hedgely, that was a wonderful presentation. Thank you. Professor Sitaram gave an excellent talk with loads of enthusiasm. Dr. Rao gave an excellent presentation on the geospatial, satellite images, space. And Dr. Manian gave an excellent talk on geodata. Thanks ever so much. Thank you all. Have a pleasant evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you
Just say thank you.